All right, welcome everybody to College Sport Check Basketball Scoreboard. We're doing two shows today. This is going to be show number 1-3. We got scores from Friday and Saturday, and then we're going to do show number 1-3A with scores from Monday and from Sunday and Monday. So Friday and Saturday, and then on 1-3A Monday, Sunday and Monday. So that you know about that. Also, Racing Fans Motorsports Radio returns on February 22nd as we recap all the NASCAR races and such. So Racing Fans, keep a lookout for that. All right, so let's get to it. College Sport Check Basketball Scoreboard Friday, 41 games, and here we go. It's number 2, UCLA defeats Oregon State 76-63. Number 3, Kansas over TCU 86-80. Number 4, Baylor defeats Oklahoma 76-50. Number 11, West Virginia over Oklahoma State 92-75. Number 18, Arizona defeats California 67-62. Oregon, number 21, Oregon defeats number 22, USC, 84-61. Bowling Green over Norfolk State, 86-77. South Carolina upstate defeats Allen, 93-67. Penn defeats Fairfield, 74-68. St. Bonaventure over Massachusetts, 89-77. Binghamton over Marywood, 101-54. Valparaiso, they defeat Illinois Chicago, 70-59. Central Michigan over Chicago State, 90-82. Michigan State over Northwestern, 61-52. The Dayton Flyers, they defeat LaSalle 66-55. Iowa State over Texas Tech 63-56. Rhode Island over St. Louis 90-56. Hampton defeats Coker 94-69. Albany over Columbia 70-67. Ohio over Urbana 77-50. Boston University, they defeat Holy Cross 61-55. Colgate over Lafayette 85-75. Harvard over Howard 67-46. Lehigh over Army West Point 66-59. Duquesne over Fordham 75-72. And then Bucknell defeats the Navy 59-55. Buffalo, they defeat Maine 79-60. North Carolina Central over Montreat 101-66. St. Joseph's over George Washington 68-63. Toledo over Ohio Christian 98-58. Loyola Maryland over American University 68-66. VCU, they defeat George Mason 73-64. Kansas State over Texas 65-62. Jackson State over Fisk 94-62. Arizona State over Stanford 98-93. Memphis over South Carolina 70-54. New Mexico State over UTEP 79-70. Eastern Washington over Idaho 69-62. Seattle, they defeat UC Santa Barbara 80-76. Cal State Fullerton over Bethesda Christian 99-56. And then the UC Irvine Anteaters, they defeat Life Pacific 101-43. All right, this is College Sport Check Basketball Scoreboard. Those are the scores from Friday, and now for the scores from Saturday. This is the last batch of basketball for 2016, 90 games in all. Here we go. It's number 1, Villanova. They defeat number 10, Creighton, 82-70. Virginia Tech over number 5, Duke, 89-75. Number 5, Louisville over number 16, Indiana, 77-62. Number 7, Gonzaga defeats Pacific, 81-61. Georgia Tech over number 9, North Carolina, 75-63. Number 20, Florida State over number 12, Virginia, 60-58. Number 17, Xavier, they defeat Georgetown 81-76. Number 19, St. Mary's, California defeats San Diego 72-60. Number 24, Notre Dame defeats Pittsburgh 78-77 in overtime. Clemson, they defeat Wake Forest 73-68. Murray State over Tennessee State 92-83. Jacksonville over South Carolina State 89-85. North Carolina Wilmington defeats Towson 76-67. Missouri State over Indiana State 81-75. Radford over Winthrop 82-80. SMU, they defeat East Carolina 75-44. Houston over South Florida 70-56. South Florida just fired their coach today. That news broke out, I think it was today or yesterday. Kennesaw State defeats North Georgia 89-76. Furman, they defeat the Citadel 83-68. Charlotte over North Texas 101-76. Georgia Southern over Georgia State 88-65. Princeton over Cal Poly 81-52. Marshall defeats Florida International 94-70. IUPUI defeats Western Illinois 89-71. Green Bay over Youngstown State 90-77. Rider over Monmouth 93-90. Also in overtime, Florida Gulf Coast defeats Florida Tech 101-49. Wolford defeats Mercer 88-71. Western Kentucky over Florida Atlantic 69-54. Iona defeats Marist 93-80. College Sport Check basketball scoreboard. Old Dominion, they defeat Rice 62-56. Dartmouth over New Hampshire 63-62. Texas Rio Grande over Texas A&M Kingsville 96-78. Mount St. Mary's over Wagner 57-56. East Tennessee State defeats VMI 102-75. Liberty over Charleston Southern 81-70. Chattanooga over Western Carolina 64-48. Southern Utah defeats Northern Arizona 93-80. Campbell over Presbyterian 69-58. Samford over North Carolina Greensboro 73-62. South Dakota State defeats South Dakota 73-72. James Madison defeats Drexel 78-67. Tulsa, they defeat Connecticut 61-59 in overtime. Air Force over Utah State 78-73. Northeastern over William and Mary 84-64. Hofstra over Delaware 58-56. North Carolina Asheville defeats Garner Webb 90-85 in overtime. Richmond over Davidson 82-80. And the Seawolves, Stony Brook defeats Brown 92-89. Right in our neighborhood right here. On Long Island. Charleston defeats Allen 66-54. IPFW over Oral Roberts 102-91. Southeastern Louisiana, they defeat Abilene Christian 75-53. Fairleigh Dickinson over Robert Morris 81-77. Oakland over Northern Kentucky 76-65. North Dakota State over Omaha 82-70. North Dakota defeats Sacramento State 90-82 in overtime. St. Francis, PA defeats Sacred Heart 87-67. Southeast Missouri State, they defeat Eastern Kentucky 81-48. Cleveland State over Milwaukee 62-53. Belmont over Austin Payee 82-77. Tennessee Tech defeats SIUE 72-66. Wright State over Detroit 85-72. UNLV over Wyoming 81-75. All right, here we go. Weber State, they defeat Montana 84-81 in overtime. Longwood over High Point 60-55. Central Florida over Temple 77-53. St. Francis of Brooklyn, they defeat Central Connecticut State 86-77. Little Rock over Monroe 79-75 in overtime. Then we have McNeese State defeating Northwestern State 79-72 also in overtime. Home of the scores, College Sport Check basketball scoreboard. BYU, they defeat Loyola Marymount 81-76. Montana State over Idaho State 80-63. Jacksonville State over Eastern Illinois 57-56. Miami of Florida defeats North Carolina State 81-63. Nicholls State defeats Incarnate Word 94-84. LIU Brooklyn over Bryant 74-63. Stephen F. Austin, they defeat Houston Baptist 61-51. UC Davis over Utah Valley 83-69. UC Riverside over Grand Canyon 76-56. Central Arkansas, they defeat Sam Houston State 67-65. Northern Colorado over Portland State 73-59. New Orleans over Texas A&M CC 73-72 in overtime. Texas State defeats Appalachian State 67-58. Texas Arlington defeats Coastal Carolina 90-69. Arkansas State over Louisiana Lafayette 74-71. Boise State over Colorado State 74-73. Santa Clara, they defeat San Francisco 72-58. Fresno State over Nevada 77-76. Tennessee Martin over Morehead State 81-77. And then also in overtime. And then one more from Pepperdine. Portland defeats Pepperdine 73-60. And that is a wrap for Friday and Saturday. All right, so we're going to do another round on show number 13A. So we're doing 2 shows, so check that out. So we got to split it up. So we'll see you then. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for downloading. We got a lot of downloads, which is cool. We got more downloads than streaming, but it's a podcast, so podcasts are better being downloaded anyway. So thank you for tuning in, and good stuff. So we'll see you on show number 13A, and then we'll bang out the scores from Sunday and Monday. This is College Sport Check Basketball Scoreboard.